Welcome back to Jane's Stories of Life. I mentioned earlier I was going to tell you about how I used to be a card shark. And I'll begin by saying that when I was a child, I was probably 10 years old before we had our first television set. And it was just a small black and white set, of course, back in the 40s, long before your time. And so we had to do other things to keep ourselves entertained and amused and so forth. And one of the things that many of us did, many families, many children, was playing cards. There were games like War and Old Maid and some of those that you're probably familiar with. Maybe, I don't know whether you played cards in your day or not. But there was this adult game that involved two decks of cards called canasta, and that was a game that was complex. It required some pretty decent math skills. I loved math. I always loved math, and so you had to remember you had to get 50 points before you could make spreads and do certain things, and then you had to keep score, and different cards had different value. Face cards had a different value than the numbered cards, and ace. It was not it involved quite a bit of math, and so that was right up my alley. I enjoyed playing that game. We played that a lot when I was, say, 8, 9, 10, 12, whatever age. Then later on, of course, by the time I got to college, oh my, it's bid whist, which is very similar to spades that many college students play now. The difference, I looked at the difference today because I was curious. The difference in bid whist and spades is that in bid whist, the person that wins the bid determines what the trump is. So your trump might be diamonds, it might be hearts, it might be clubs. But in the game of spades, I know the trump is always spades. But the same kind of spirited play goes on with both of those kinds of games. And so I mentioned before, I kept track of what cards had played, what cards, what books were going to be won next, and what you had to do. And you had a partner. And so, you wanted to make sure you had a partner who was just as sharp as you were. Because if they played the wrong card and you lost because of that, that was serious. You said, what did you play that for? You knew the queen was still out there. I mean, it was serious business. Well, I mentioned Morgan was not a good card player. The night that we met, we played bid whist with Gwen and John. And Morgan misplayed 3 times. He reneged 3 times that night. I said, oh my soul, this man does not know how to play cards. But I looked beyond that. Later on, after we were married, after we had children, our children did not quite inherit the love of math that I had. As a matter of fact, both of them kind of struggled a little bit with math when they were young children, and I was always trying to get them to love math and make math fun. And so our house kind of looked like a branch of Vegas, because I had poker chips, I had cards, we would play games, I had dice, and I have to laugh. When I taught in Dover, we couldn't call them dice because some parents did not like the word dice. So we had to call them random number generators. But anyway, that was, I really enjoy it. I haven't played cards in years. I kind of got out of it once, I guess once every other things took over. But yeah, I loved card. I was a serious card player. And so that's kind of my story of Jane the Card Shark. Cherish your memories and pass them on. All right.